what size high heels are they going to have? It's very similar to the boys being asked to go to war when the most important decision they were making prior to being inducted into the military in the 60s and 70s was, what kind of car am I going to get? So we're not teaching people the power that teenagers have to actually shape their lives. We're limiting them, and we're telling them what to do, and we're telling them they need to be consumers. And I'm saying, no, they don't. Parents actually are born of teenagers who make those decisions at the age of 13, 14. I'm not going to breastfeed my baby. I'm going to have an epidural and a cesarean. That's not power. So I need to turn it around so that they understand where real power comes from.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'd like to introduce Samsara Morgan, and then we have Just a Mom here also who wants to speak. Samsara, I'd love to hear you talk about what you're seeing in the birth world that you live in and your concerns about the disparities in healthcare. I'd love you to contribute to the conversation.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And just need a second because I wasn't in space to do this. But I've been sitting there and my head has been nodding vigorously with everything that has been said. For myself, I am a doula and parenting educator. I've had the pleasure of serving families here in the East Bay. This year is my 35th year of being a birth worker, birth keeper. And my heart is broken on a daily basis with what's happening in specifically my community. This country is not a safe place for any woman to have a baby, but it is truly treacherous for women of color and truly treacherous for African American women. And when we sit and talk about, power, there is no power for them. They're birthing their babies into a system that hates them. And so it's not surprising that so many mamas don't survive and so many babies don't survive. And so what is being discussed here is imperative. Because one of the things I talk about often is that when African American babies were a product, there were plenty of them. When they were needed to work the fields, when they were needed in slavery, no one was crying about, oh, why are all the African American babies dying? No, there were plenty of them. So now our babies are no longer a product, and they're disposable, they're dispensable. And so, just being an African American person living in the system, there have been studies that have been shown that the adrenal system of African American people never goes to a rest place, like we never get true restorative sleep. So that renders African American people prone to all sorts of autoimmune issues. We see that very clearly. Obesity, diabetes, all of these autoimmune things, African American people are more prone to it. So it's so troubling because I'm sitting there, I'm listening, and I'm agreeing, and I'm really thinking that the revolution has got to come because living in capitalism goes against humanity. Capitalism goes against, why can't a young mother have the time that she needs to be home with her little baby? She's got to go to work. And why does she have to go to work? Because the corporation is looking at their bottom line, which is not taking into account the needs of the little babies that are being born to their employees. Somebody said, it was talked about last night on the panel, this new process where big companies are offering to young women to store their eggs. I can't even think of it. To me, as a person of faith, I just have to label that as evil. That's just evil.
So Samsara, they're offering to store their eggs so they can delay childbearing.
Yeah. Yes. Until they're no longer valuable to the company, and then they can go ahead and procreate. I mean, that's just like twisted. Like that's bad science fiction, right? But that's the way it is. I mean, we have to take responsibility, like as individuals, of how we talk to little girls and boys about what it is to be a human being. We ask them what do they want to be when they want to grow up, but we don't talk to them about parenting. We don't talk to them about coupling. And these are the most important things they're going to do. Really, your job is your job. That's nice. But having a life mate, and in deciding whether you're going to be a parent. Not everybody needs to be a parent. But if you want to be one, how would you do it well? What are the examples of that? So, everybody right now, the big thing is all the kids need to learn how to code. And all the energy and the resources are going to raise little coders. Well, they'll be great coders, but they won't be able to date. They won't be able to mate. They won't be able to bring forth young and raise them. So that is the end of the species. And if we want that, then that's where we're going. But if we want to change that, we need, and it can be changed really quickly. Issues in just in my own family, in a couple of generations of effort brings forth tremendous results. So it doesn't have to take a long time. But we have to make a decision. We people have to make a decision, not corporate people. Real people have to make a decision that is important, the quality of life of everybody on this planet.
Good comment to that. There's a similar situation in South America and Brazil, where people who were poor, disenfranchised, and the government decided that one of the biggest problems they had was that the fathers weren't staying at home. They were released, so there's a single mother pregnant having a baby. So the government started paying fathers to stay at home. Once that happened, infant mortality, maternal mortality, birth complications went down. Guess who showed up at the birth? The fathers with their wives. So the women then didn't get raped or abused or as much because the father was there to be a protector. But I think there are things we can do in this country in that similar vein to support mothers of color, non-color, poverty, low income. It's important that we consider social programs like that.
Just to consider our basic humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like I say all the time to my students, like we're fancy monkeys. And what do other primates do to raise happy, healthy little offspring? They snuggle up together all the time. That's their primary thing that they do. There's hunting and gathering, and mostly, mates are snuggled up together with mates, and babies are snuggled up with their parents. And they get along relatively peaceably. Other apes and primates actually get along very well, and you learn a lot from them.
Thank you, Samsara. And William, I think since we were talking about mothering and fathering, it would be a great chance to share that we have Just a Mom here. She's a crusader for improving human rights in childbirth and the mother's experience.
Thank you. So as Just a Mom, my message is very simple. And it is that women are powerful. All women have superpowers. All women have superpowers. The ability to grow a baby and nourish the baby is amazing. And when a woman stands in her power, she is unstoppable. Women are the authorities on their care. Women are the ones that are experiencing the pregnancy, they're in communication with their babies. And when women stand up, they are all just a mom. Not, oh, I'm just a mom. But they are just a mom. And I invite all of you to join the Just a Mom League. You may join as Just a Mom and stand by my side, or if you happen to be a care provider or an advocate, you can join as an obstetrician or as a midwife. And as we support moms doing the work that they're already doing. They're already doing it. You're just pretending that you are the active one in this process. Really, it's the mother that does all the work. So when you stand with the mothers and support them in what they need to be healthy and to be strong and to feel like a person. These are basic human rights here. We're not talking about complicated, and we just need to be respected as people, as authorities of our own bodies, and be safe, have our basic needs met. And women will thrive. Babies will thrive, families will thrive, and the whole world will be better.
Just a mom, can you tell me when you donned your cape and became a crusader and why?
Every time a woman stands up and demands better care, she is just a mom. Every time she fights for access to a VBAC, she's just a mom. Every time she fights to have her baby with her and not have her baby taken away, she is just a mom. Every mom that stands up for her baby is just a mom. Every mom that stands up for another mom, who fights for better laws, better regulations in our hospitals, they are just mom.
Do they wear costumes?
Costumes are optional. I really like shiny things. I think it helps with visibility.
Yes, so many mothers have been marginalized. You know, really the saying that the hand that rocks the cradle rocks the world. And mothers are visionaries, and mothers have changed the system. You know, one child, one birth, one baby at a time. You know, whether it's because they were treated in childbirth and had trauma that was unnecessary, or whether they had a child that didn't get their needs met in the school system and had to have special ed and have tailored services. The women are changing the world as visionaries. And the thing about visibility and being marginalized, that our voices aren't heard because we're just a mom, or we're just women, or we're crazy angry women. Thank you. Anything else about your personal crusade as just a mom?
Well,
there's a lot of things you could be doing right now.
Of course. My league is gathering. We are going to ACOG on Sunday, and we are going to talk to ACOG about the state of affairs in maternity care. And we are going to invite ACOG to join the Just a Mom League.
Could you tell us what ACOG means?
So we will be at the annual meeting of the American Congress of Obstetricians. We will be at the annual meeting of the American Congress of Obstetricians and Gynecologists this Sunday at 11 a.m. We will have signs. There will be other Caped Crusaders, and we will extend our invitation.
I would just add to the thing about parents and their work. I mean, as a midwife, as a licensed midwife now and a certified professional midwife now, there was a time when I wasn't, when we had to fight for these rights and we were outlaws for doing this. But it is really the moms that had the courage. You know, it's really the moms that chose to walk away and say, I can too have my baby even though there isn't a professional there. Because there isn't a professional that exists in my community to do that. So I'm going to do it anyway. And I really fully support, you know, becoming visible as the strength and power that Just a Moms have. I think any one of us could testify to the way we had to rise up and get bigger, and where the personal becomes political. And that's what our movement, the Birth Keeper, is based on. Because, you know, once you lose a right, or once you have an experience, or you lose a baby, you lose a mother, you are wounded from a system that is really designed to help you and care for you, but isn't meeting that standard. You can't go back. You have to look at the ways to make it better for yourself and others. And I mean, you can hear that in the voices of many people here. So is there anyone else that has questions for from the press or the gathering for the panel here?
like to just say that it takes the fathers to protect the mothers and babies. So we must not leave.
It takes the whole league.
Maybe Dave should be called just a father, because the father is the one who holds the safety for the mother and the baby.
Yes, we have had to fight so hard in this country for father's presence in the birth process. It's been such a long haul to restore the natural nurturing that fathers need and want at birth. That, to be placed outside the birthing circle because of an institution. If a woman doesn't want her husband there, her partner there, or he's just not there because he's not alive, or he's not available, or he's abandoned her, that's one thing. But if a woman wants her partner there, um, he is going to get that full benefit of that biological blueprint that we were talking about, where the oxytocin, which is known as a mother and father and human love hormone, is going to surge in him at birth. So his response is going to be stronger and more involved and more protective towards his offspring and his wife or partner. So this is really important. We really don't want to neglect the role of parents, whether they're fathers and they're male or whether their partner is another woman. There is a biological imperative that cues fathering behavior, and fathers deserve the full access to that.
If I may also say, this also speaks to how we raise our sons, because little boys are treated abominably in the culture, and then we want them to be tender, protective nurturers. Doesn't work out.
That's right.
They need to have received protection. They need to have received tender nurturing to then be able to be the soft-hearted people that I know males are. I have 5 sons. And one of the things that really shocked me in raising little boys was how tender they were. It really struck me very early on how precious and tender my little boy babies were, and how the world attacks them. As soon as someone hears you have a boy, my first babies were twin sons. People would say to me, "Oh, poor you." I'd say to people now, I had 5 sons, I go, "Oh, poor you." Like, excuse me, they're my riches. So, no, poor me, poor you. But that's the culture. And then we get angry with them when they're distant, and they do all the things that drive us women bazonkers. And if you talk to, we hear the upbringing and the abuse that they've suffered, well, them being expected to suck it up and be men. Women can cry when they're raped. Men can't even talk about it. We get what we get.
I'd like to add a comment. Being a father is that when a father's at birth, what actually happens is that the baby doesn't just bond with the mother or with the father, the baby actually bonds with the relationship as well. And in perceptual studies, after a baby's bonded with the mother and the father and the relationship, we've actually videotaped babies, and the percentage of time they make eye contact with mother and father in the home, equal. So they look to their mothers and fathers throughout life because that's big in the very beginning. That's where they learn what relationships are about. That's where they learn about cuddling and holding and being strong and soft.
Yeah.
I'm a very soft man. I'm born that way.
It's a blessing. You live longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I was lucky. What happened actually is I had a twin sister, and she died after birth. So I only knew her for 9 months and 12 hours. And we had a relationship that was nonverbal, but very close. We ate together, fed together, slept together, dreamed together, exchanged thoughts, full communication. So what actually happened is after birth, she died. I didn't bond with my mother at all. And you'd be amazed how many babies bond with their siblings that are already alive, even more so than with the mother. So we need to understand it's not just bonding with the mother, it's also babies bonding with the family, with sister and brother. It also happens at birth. So birth should become a family affair. If mother doesn't want that, no. It means it has to be the carrier. But I would say the ideal ideal psychology of birth is that the whole family's invited.
I'm a mother of sons too. Thank you for that. It's really important to hear the father's perspective and shed light on our son.